Our first question is from Benjamin B. He wants to know, well, he says he loves the voices we do.
Yes, thank you very much, Benjamin B.
And he wonders how do we keep them all straight, and do they all have their own personalities, and how do we
Yeah.
determine that? And
Boy, I don't know. You tell me.
Mom?
Actually, personality is a very good word because sometimes people say, do you do voices? And I say, well, I kind of do vocal personalities because we are taking these characters and giving them life, not just a voice. So that's a really good question. How do we keep them straight? Well, sometimes, right, Mr. Russell, that's kind of tricky because sometimes you're doing a New York accent and then a Southern accent and then an Irish accent and then a Minnesota accent. And sometimes it takes a lot of concentration to keep them straight.
Yeah, they all have their own little ticks, though, and that's where experience comes in as you build this library of different regional accents and types and things that you've absorbed through years of watching television and the movies. It all becomes sort of a file cabinet in there, so hopefully you can draw on a type or a stereotype or whatever, and that helps you keep things straight.
Yeah. And I think Tim's right. Part of what helps me keep it straight is that I'm just sort of a veteran now doing this. Maybe when I first started, it was more difficult. But if we're kind of concentrating on that one particular character in the script, and then it's easy to sort of keep that consistent. So our next question is from Jacqueline S. And she asks, how hard is it to keep a straight face during rehearsal or when we're doing these scripts? And do we ever crack up? Was that the question? Was that the question? Was that the question?
Never. We never crack up.
Was that the question? Did I get that right?
You got that right.
I think that right. Okay. So the answer would be, we do crack up sometimes in rehearsal.
Yeah.
You kind of try not to during the show. It has happened.
Yeah, if there's a surprise in the show that we really aren't expecting, then we're but we don't want to disrupt the whole thing, so we try to do it quietly.
Well, because and also, as you know, if something really tickles you, it's hard to sort of get your composure back very quickly. So it's as an actor, you try to tune all that out, all that stuff that might tickle that funny bone, and sort of concentrate on the role or the task at hand, the dialogue, whatever. And you might be tickled, but you try to fight that. Now, in rehearsal, we might just sort of give into it. The other day, a couple weeks ago, we were doing a Mom Dwayne script, and Tim plays
Hank, the dad.
Hank. Yeah. So anyway, I was passing the phone to Hank like Mom often does when she gets frustrated with Dwayne, and so she called for Hank, and so I was like, Hank, and then and then it was slightly off mic, and the line was, "Where are your pants?"
I forget.
Yeah, so I hear him say, "I forget." Well, I totally lose it in rehearsal.
That wasn't in the script.
No, he's ad-libbing that. So that was very, very funny. The whole stage cracked up. Everybody cracked up. Well, he did it again in performance, but now I was ready for it. I was steeled. I was ready for it. It still was very, very funny, but I was ready for it. So hopefully that answers your question, Jacqueline.